welcome to the Action for Access Year Us Out group discussion. As indicated earlier, I'm Zoe Titus. I'm the director of the Namibia Media Trust. This project is part of our work to promote access to information. We believe that every citizen has the right to access to information, which is the basic foundation for informed decision-making. And we all have ambitions for our future, and that must be based on sound decision-making. I'm very happy to see that we have a very diverse group of stakeholders present here today. So just to give you some background, the NMT, Namibia Media Trust, has been working for several years, since 2012, in fact, to promote a better understanding of access to information, the right to access to information, but pushing more prominently the idea that we need a law that guarantees every citizen the right to access to information. So in 2016, we worked as part of the Action Namibia network. We worked very closely with the Ministry of Information to develop a draft bill for Namibia. That bill was submitted to the National Assembly in June 2020. It has been referred for more public input and consultation, and we hope that our lawmakers will soon give us an access to information law, which, most importantly, gives you a legal guarantee to the right to access to information.
Actually, it's a scary situation. Although sometimes you'll find me and my friends joking about it. Like the other day, we were in a taxi cab. I think all of us were persons with albinism, me and my friends, and we were like, do you know how many millions are seated in this car right now? You know, so it was just a joke, because after the articles and the story came out that this guy wanted to sell his hair and that he would potentially get millions, or they wanted him to sell his hair and he could potentially get millions, you know. So it's something we joke about, but inside it's actually a very scary situation. And just the fact that we do not have proper protection, you know, in terms of this particular issue. For example, imagine somebody in the informal settlement that probably stays closer to a riverbed and a little bit segregated from maybe other neighbors and stuff. And this person is a girl. In fact, I know many people that live in informal settlements that are women with disabilities. Already the fact that she's a woman, she's vulnerable. Already that maybe she's young, she's vulnerable, and then she's a person with albinism. So how do we better protect these community members? If somebody could educate these people on maybe the medical aspect of the situation, to say that no, this is actually something that has to do with the genetics and, you know, all this, I think we'll be in a better place. There are many people in the rural areas that are having lack of that information. They just believe, why is this person different? Both their parents have this color, but he has this color. So it's, I mean, even till now, people that may have access to information, maybe on social media and this so-called woke youth of today, you will hear questions like, I'm always being asked why I dye my beard. Then I'm like, no, I don't dye my beard. This is exactly how I am. So people don't understand the genetic part of things. These are genetics, you know. My parents obviously both were black, and since I'm a person with albinism, I'm going to have certain features that differ from them. So again, I think information, people lack this information. If we can educate people on issues around people with albinism, why does somebody have an albinism? Why is a person born with albinism? Why do they look different from their parents? I think we can maybe somehow curb some of these issues.
Actually, seconding the idea regarding the sign language, can Namibia perhaps not make sign language an official language, or can it not be implemented into the Namibian curriculum for everybody to have it as a must? It should be taught to everybody, especially maybe from the lower grade, just for the basics, so that everybody can be able to communicate with everyone else. And then I also love to add to what Mr. Auburn was talking about regarding creating awareness for persons with albinism. Is awareness going to be created for people that are living with albinism or everybody else? And if it's only for, actually not, yeah, and if it's that way, how are we going to do that if some parents still hide their kids with albinism in their houses? Because I remember I read an article in 2019 of a lady, I'm not so sure if it was Kavango East or Kavango West, whereby she was always locked up in the house, and then that time she was 32 or 30 something when she was released from home. Who are we going to educate about awareness regarding persons with albinism? Thank you.
So as for people with disabilities, we feel we are excluded because when they were doing consultations, I don't think we were part and parcel of the consultation process. For instance, for us that are deaf and those that are visually impaired, that have visual impairment, we have got special needs or special focus when it comes to access to information. For me as a deaf person, I actually need sign language or access to sign language. For example, what we are fighting for is the training of sign language interpreters, because we need, as deaf people, we actually need an interpreter to have access to information. So if I go to a meeting on my own, how will others hear me? How will I express myself? So for example, things are happening in parliament or in school or in different areas where there are no interpreters. So for us, we feel left out. We also want to hear what people are saying. And currently, we only have got interpreters in Commerce region. So in other regions, if they are deaf people, they don't get access to information. I think social media has some disadvantages. For instance, for people with disabilities, I don't think we are fully aware of our rights. Many times, there's always communication breakdown, communication barriers between us and those and the rest. Because I think previously we were complaining about people that are. Have you seen that lately they are actually mimicking our language? They have got there's someone there who's doing a speech, and then there's a funny guy who's just throwing funny gestures. For us, we felt a little bit that that wasn't right, because sign language is a right where we have to express ourselves. We need to feel that we are dignified. People have respect the language. In that manner, we feel we are exploited, or we are not respected as much. For us, when it comes to access to information, is of course via sign language interpretation, and then for those with visual impairment, is then Braille. But government, I think, has no budget, code, or vote to implement access to information for the two groups. For example, budgetary allocation to have an interpreter wherever we are going. And for the visually impaired, also when they go to meetings, because I know printing of Braille is quite costly, but then I think it's for government to now plan ahead and budget for those two items. Thank you.
Firstly, I just want to say that in the Namibian Constitution, it has the Bill of Rights, whereby it protects all human rights. And the Namibian law, is against any form of discrimination when it comes to employment, when it comes to health, and when it comes to education. But how is it practical for us? How is that applied to us as people with disability when it comes to access to information? And one thing is that numbers don't lie, statistics don't lie, sorry. And we all know that there's a few number of employed disabled people, although that is usually written by application, is that most institutions, though they write that, which is procedural, probably to say that, okay, they did invite people with disability to apply for those jobs, but in real time is that people with disabilities are not employed by this institution. Number one, it's because we are seen more as a liability than an asset to an organization. But however, I think that there is a lot of people with disability that are capable and have the skills and have the capacity, but just because of their disabilities, they are not able to get the job the job of their dreams, if I can say that.
For us as deaf people, the challenge here is, I think gender-based violence in this community is very, very high. We have got, maybe because of lack of education, or we have got limited education opportunities. Because we talk about cultures and challenges, but I think in our community, especially with disabilities, our challenges are mostly negative perceptions of people that people have towards us. Many times they think we are not really people with disabilities, or many times they don't even want to work with us. And there's quite a lot of discrimination that we face in our daily lives. I think people are not trying or making time to just understand how they can work with us. Maybe we can amend the Constitution and recognize sign language as an official language, and then we can go through to all the schools across the country and raise more awareness. There are a whole lot of people that are with disabilities that are in remote areas, and they don't listen to radio, and they are quite left behind when it comes to information. Mm-hmm. If you enumerate the number of people that are employed with disabilities, they perhaps say they are 70, but that 70, they are probably doing menial jobs. And that's not fair, because we also want to become leaders, managers, supervisors, and so forth. But the number of people that are employed are always doing menial jobs, cleaning, the lower grades. Yeah. And also many times they think I employed a deaf person, I must also recruit an interpreter again, so it's a liability. No, I don't think I'm able to. If I employ this person, will they be able to work? And if they are able to work, I probably have now to make the environment a bit conducive for them to be able to carry out their duties. So it's for us to now perhaps raise awareness, because the perception is quite negative towards us.